I know I can't draw very well, but in this video I'd like to show you where most of the important temples in ancient Egypt were. They were actually in what was called Upper Egypt, which is the bottom part of Egypt, which is right above Nubia. So it's still in the lower part of Egypt to this day, which is basically Nubian influenced land. And you had Lake Nasser and the Toshka Lakes and Abu Simbel, and going up you have Aswan, the temple of Edfu, where the temple of Heru is, and Esna and Thebes. Remember, the Thebans were the ones who, around the time of Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph, around 1640 BCE, the Hyksos invaded Egypt, and the Thebans were the guys who had to fight with them over who runs the show. And later on in 1200 BCE you get Moses and the Exodus, and then you have the 1100 BCE, you have the split between the Nubian dynasty and the Egyptian dynasty. So before Moses, Nubia and Egypt were one, and they're controlled by the same person. And in the 25th dynasty, as a result of the split around, well, the Nubian contest begins really around 1080 BCE, but you have the Nubian dynasty coming to head. You know, like in 743 you have Pi. You know, around 800, 880 BCE you have the Nubians coming really into power, and you have people like Shabaka and Kashta. Well, anyway, you have Pi around 743 BCE, and this is when you have the exile in Babylon and the prophets of Israel, and you also have later on you're going to have the Persian Empire, which is after this, 525. So the only relevant foreigners in Egypt during the period of Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph, and the whole Technicolor shirt when Jacob goes out and becomes Israel, the Nubian dynasty is ruling while they're in Israel. They have the kings of Israel, the prophets of Israel. The Nubian dynasty is ruling in Egypt. That's why they allow them to be there. So you have to understand the mind control, and you have to understand what the importance is, and the importance of the buildings there. Okay, you know what is up. Up you have most of the temples were built like black people, like in El Armana, right? You have the temple of Aten, built by Akhenaten when he was leaving. Okay, you have them moving the capital. People didn't like that, and so most of the important stuff was built by black people, even in Lower Egypt, which is the top part of Egypt in the present day. And of course, the Nile flows from south to north. So you know what really do you have in Upper Egypt? You have Cairo, you have Beni Hassan. These aren't that relevant in contrast with the Valley of the Kings and the structures of Karnak and Luxor. I mean, they're almost irrelevant when you compare the two. The Nile Delta was the white person trying to control the resources, and he didn't care about where the Nile went. He didn't care about Lake Nasser. He didn't care about the deeper spiritual knowledge. So when you have the pyramids built up, that's when Menzies united the two lands. He united the two lands, which means a black man went to Upper Egypt, put his mark, saying a black man has united the two lands, Menzies the first, and then after him you have the pyramids being built. Then you have Djoser, and then you have Amenhotep, who's made a god by the Greeks. So the Greeks were profoundly taken away, you know, swept away off their feet by the ingenious attitude and the brilliance of the black man. And I'll end it there because that's a lot of information for you to soak up. I'm going to be quiet for about a couple minutes, or about 30 seconds, let you soak in the map, and then I'm going to end the video. Give you about a minute, 30 seconds. Maybe a little commentary. Why not? No, you had Port Said, you had Damietta in the north, you had El Alamein, you had, remember in the Sinai, you had Egyptian structures built there too, because Egypt was controlling part of that. You know, there's a lot of important stuff going on here. You know, when Mycenae falls, and Hammurabi and Sargon, okay, these are before Menzies. Menzies was before, excuse me, these are after Menzies. Menzies was before Sargon. Sargon was only like 2600 BCE. Menzies was 3100 BCE. So when white man starts history is convenient for him, the spiritual knowledge that led up to, just like white people look for the military application and everything, they're looking for the military and financial applications of things. That's why in the Temple of Thebes, a lot of them who were fighting with the Nubian dynasties, they had military, they were a military priesthood. So they're mixing sciences with the military, with the spiritual knowledge. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to talk too much. Just soak it in. Lake Nasser, right above Sudan. If you think there wasn't black people there, like there are right now, you are out of your mind. If you think they weren't pushed down by European, Persian, Assyrian, Turkish, British troops, you are out of your mind. You think the Greeks and the Romans didn't push black people to Sudan, you are out of your mind. There is no way that they were not black. And there is no way that people did not mix after rape, empirical rape after empirical rape, colonial rape after colonial rape, imperialistic rape after imperialism resulting in rape. Do you understand? Even Cleopatra was willing to give her body ahead of time because she knew the army was coming to rape everybody. The Romans don't play around. They're coming to rape everyone. She knows how the white people think because she descends from some of the lines of the white people. For example, she descends from the Macedonian line. Well, I'll end it right there.